Good morning everybody, and welcome back to another episode of my flipping series where I'm trying to earn the most expensive gear in pay-to-play starting from scratch. Now that gear adds up to be a lot of money, at current estimates somewhere between 8 and 10 bill, and that is mainly because of items like the 3rd Age Pickaxe, the Elysian Spirit Shield, 3rd Age Druidic Top and Bottom, and the 3rd Age Druidic Cloak making up the vast majority. However, good news everybody, because I think this is probably the first time where the overall cost for all of the items have actually gone down. The Elysian Spirit Shield has dropped by nearly 150 mil, the 3rd Age Druidic Cloak dropped by about 500 mil, and presumably the 3 items over max cash also dropped a bit, but I can't say that for sure. So at least we are going in the right direction. As always, if you want to push it a little bit back the other way, don't forget to like the video. For every 10 likes I get on this video series, I'm gonna have to buy 1 Onyx Bolt each to be able to complete the challenge. As always, thanks for watching, and let's get started. Now in episode number 8, we finished off at a pretty awesome milestone, and that would be 1/3 of the way to a bill. Which means we finished off at 333 mil. We are making very consistent and steady progress, and eventually that is going to have to change, but for now I'm pretty happy with the progress we're making. I think once we get to around 500-600 mil, things are going to change a little bit, because at that point we can start flipping the Scythe of Vitter. That should hopefully bump us up a bit per day, and then after that we're going to get the Twisted Bow eventually, and then maybe a Harmonized Orb. There are some really good daily flips we can do once we have the money. So starting off today, in the top left corner, we have a couple of combination flips. Once again, we're going to be making the Dragonfire Ward, we're going to be buying Armadillo Hilts to turn into Armadillo Godswords, and we're going to be buying some Superior Dragon Bones to grind down. All easy combination flips that should hopefully net us, well, ideally around 1 mil each. Now that does leave us with around 150 mil left, so we're going to go ahead and put an offer in for the Saradomin's tier. And the final item I'm going to try here is the Justicia armor set. We're just going to buy it and flip it directly, and that's pretty much going to be it. So hopefully we can have a strong last few days of April. Alright, so we're hopping back in here at the end of the day. It's just before bedtime, about 10 p.m. Yeah, I'm kind of lame, guys. Don't worry about it. And we have a couple really awesome flips here. The Dragonfire Wards, we ended up getting a bit over a 400k margin on each of them, which is great. We got a 600k margin on one of them and a 500k on the other. So that's 1.1 mil just by combining that item. Incredibly good. We had a few other good minor flips as well. We got about 500k in profit on the Gilded Armor set and around 600k on the Crushed Dragon Bones. Well, anyway, when we get around to selling all of them. Now, because we're going to be going to bed here pretty soon, I'm going to put in some slow flips overnight. We're going to try for a few 3rd Age items. The Twisted Blueprint has been really consistent. It is of course bottlenecked via a very low limit of only 5, however you can very routinely get a 100k margin, and I would definitely recommend flipping that item, especially if you have a bit less money than I do. Now for a big ticket item, we're going to try buying the Dragon Kite Shield overnight for around 55 mil. Currently looking to get around a 1 mil margin. I've had quite a bit of luck with this item in general, but it is a fairly uncommon item, so it's fairly easy to get burned here, so I would definitely be careful with it. That said, we're going to roll the dice, and I will see you guys tomorrow. I've found overnight flips to be kind of inconsistent right now. Often I don't really end up buying much quantity of any of the items, I just get 1 or 2. And then I get undercut. However, on the combination items, it's a little bit different. And the Dragonfire Ward has been amazing. I mean, we just got another 1.3 mil in profit on 3 of them in total, so incredibly good. At the Dragon Kite Shield, we just got a massive margin of like 1.2 mil on each one of them. Pretty good actually, because it's a very slow item. So 2.5 mil in profit on that one, and then pretty much a moderate profit on everything else. Now, of course, having the new flipping data is both a blessing and a curse. One thing I've noticed is you have to be a lot more patient. You are just bound to get undercut. However, if you are patient enough, often you can wait long enough for offers to go through, prices to change and change back, and I just find it a lot less stressful than trying to immediately get the right price again every 10 minutes. It's just too much work. Now, because I'm going to be at the computer probably for a couple of hours here, purposely trying to do some flips, one really good option I've found is trying to do an Ancestral Robe set combination flip. Right now we're looking for about, I think, a 500 or 600k margin, which I mean is awesome. You can do it very quickly as well. You can see we've already bought 2/3 of the items needed. So if you do have the money, this is a really good option. But of course, prices do change quickly, so let's see how many times we can realistically do this. Alright, just like that, only about 15 minutes later, and we just netted a 1.1 mil profit. That is actually amazing. Theoretically, if we manage to do all 8 of those, that could be nearly a 10 mil profit. Obviously, I don't expect to get that lucky, but we're gonna go for a second one, of course, because that's like the easiest money I've ever made. Well, the market gives and takes, obviously. We made a mil on the Ancestral Robe set, and then we just went ahead and lost like a mil on it. Perfectly balanced as all things should be, of course. However, we did end up making some money on the other stuff. We got about 750k on the Dragonfire Ward. That said, we ended up getting a massive margin on diamonds. Such a weird flip, but we only flipped like 3,000 diamonds, but we ended up making a mil on that just because the margin was so massive. And that's actually brought us up to 344 mil, and we still have a couple days left of April. So for the most part here, we're going for a few standard flips. We're doing a Cape of Skulls, Elven Signet, the Dragon Kite Shield because we've had a lot of luck doing that. The Skeletal Visage, again, just been a very consistent moneymaker for us. Anku Legs is kind of a wild card here, but I mean, we'll give it a shot. Wow, and as I was talking, we already got a Kite Shield. Guess we'll go put another offer in. So it is pretty much the end of the 29th, and we've actually had some really good luck today on pretty much all the items. First up, the Dragon Kite Shields flipped very quickly. We got super lucky on that. So 1.1 million total on the Dragon Kite Shields. I somehow managed to get an absolutely gargantuan margin on the Superior Dragon Bones, even after the 50 GP cost to crush them for me. We still ended up with a margin of 267 GP, which is huge. From 6,000 bones, that netted us a 1.6 mil profit. And I also managed to pull about a mil in profit on the Swift Blades and 650k on the Dragonfire Ward. And that is, for all intents and purposes, brought us to the end of the month. So as always, we're going to do a quick temperature check on how successful April was in comparison to other months. And of course, update our graph and spreadsheet. Alright, so the month of April was good. However, the one thing I'm a little disappointed about is that we didn't actually increase our monthly profit from the previous month. Now, partly that isn't due to the fact that March we got really lucky on a couple items and made a ton of money very quickly, a few days, and that just didn't materialize in April. However, we did of course have a bit more capital to work with, so I had kind of expected that we'd be able to do a little bit better than that. At our current monthly profit, we're making around 4 mil per day, which isn't bad for the amount of time I'm actually logged on for, but obviously I will need to improve or else we're going to be doing this for quite a while. However, like I was mentioning, once we get up to like 600, 700 mil, I can start flipping the scythe and other high ticket items, and at that point we're really going to put some effort into learning how to flip the scythe properly, because you can easily make 5 or 6 mil a day just from that item. Now for the month of April, I believe the most profitable item I had was the Staff of Balance, which I'm guesstimating at a monthly profit at around 20 mil, which is quite good for such an obscure item. Now we made pretty well the exact same amount as we did in March, which makes our graph look well, a little bit unsatisfying, but hopefully for the month of May we could improve. Well, the first day of May is looking pretty damn good. I don't know about you guys, but here in Western Canada, May is like the first month where the weather stops being complete garbage, so I'm a fan of that. Also, as far as our flips, things are going fairly well, with around a 400k profit on the crushed Superior Dragon Bone, and what looks like about a mil in profit on the Ring of the Gods, probably one of my favorite kind of mid-tier items. Coming in at 20 mil, you can often get a 200 or 300k margin on it. Now for a couple days now, I've had an interesting idea that I wanted to try, and maybe it's a bit late to do this at this point, but what I kind of want to try doing is making Guardian Boots. All you have to do is buy the black tourmaline core from the Grand Exchange and combine them with the Bandos boots, and just like that you'll probably have like 100k profit. Now there's a buying limit of only 5, and they're not a very common item, so I would say this may have made a little bit more sense to do a month or two ago, but honestly just being able to find something consistent that I could leave in overnight and not get undercut on, I would take that even if the margin isn't that impressive. Okay, so anyway, if you're curious, essentially the way this works for the Guardian Boot combination is you have to right click on the Bandos boot and use it on the black tourmaline core. You go through a dialog box and just like that, you have Guardian Boots. Right now it looks like we can sell them for actually about a 150k margin. Now I think it is reasonable that overnight you might expect to buy 10 of these, which is pretty good for an overnight flip. I mean, that's 1.5 million profit. Selling them back will be incredibly quick, so I think it might be worth it. Now, we had another really successful flip on Superior Dragonbone Crushing, so much so that we actually made 1.3 mil on that. Another really successful combination flip is the Dragonfire Ward once again. I ended up getting about a 1 mil profit on that one. And overall, it looks like that has brought us up to around 360 mil total once we sell these 2 items off anyway. Don't know why I have 6 fire runes here. I forget what the purpose of that was. Now, I really don't have that much experience flipping nightmare items, but I know they can work really well. I think that's probably going to be the next logical step eventually, once I get comfortable with it, is flipping stuff like the Eldritch Orb, the Inquisitor's armor set, eventually the Inquisitor's maze. I mean, I will need to get comfortable on that eventually, so I think I'm going to go try and flip an Inquisitor's piece. Well, there we go, guys. We did manage to do it. It wasn't that impressive. I mean, 500k is still 500k. But for the risk and how expensive it was, I'm not sure if I would do it again for that margin. But you know what? Now we have a little bit more experience on the item. And over time, hopefully we'll be able to refine our technique a little bit. Because right now we have no technique. Now, a few other interesting items here. We did a Primordial Boot combination. We got about 500k in profit. And of course, some juicy runecrafting experience for the main account. That is always appreciated. The Guardian Boots were actually incredible. We ended up managing to do 7 of them over the last day or 2, and we managed to get a margin of around 175k on each one of them, which means combining 7 of them netted us around 1.2 mil. And after selling everything off, that has brought us up to 363 mil. We really are kind of at this awkward stage right now where we are getting more and more money every day. But the next tier of flips just do realistically cost a lot more. Soon we'll be able to do the scythe, soon we'll be able to do the Inquisitor armor set, the Elysian, the Twisted Bow, but we just need a bit more money. So as you guys know, it is, well, nearly my bedtime again. Not really a true gamer, I guess, am I? And we're going to be putting in some overnight flips, stuff like the Black Tourmaline Core like I talked about, but also the Dragon Kite Shield we're going to try to lowball overnight. Some third age pieces, so far May has been incredibly profitable, so let's see if we can keep that going. Oh, well, I spoke too soon, so we tried to flip another nightmare item, that being the Volatile Orb, and well, it's in the name, it's a volatile item for sure, and we lost 3 mil right on that, unfortunately. Oh man, we're trying our best to learn some new things here, but sometimes certain markets are just way too volatile and there's just no rhyme or reason behind it. You're just kind of gambling, and that's how I personally feel right now in the nightmare items, but that's probably because I'm just inexperienced. Eventually we'll be able to kind of learn trends, figure out when the item normally cycles up and down every day. That kind of information is really how you're going to get a competitive edge over bots and just other flippers. Unfortunately, there's no easy shortcut to getting that information. You just kind of got to practice. Well, let's try to brush that off and just try to grind out as much money over the next couple days to make that back, and hopefully some more. Now pretty happy with how the last couple days have gone. We did manage to make back quite a bit of our money. However, now we're actually going to be leaving for I think 3 days. So we're going to put in some big offers before I actually leave, including the likes of 50 Eternal Crystals, 15 Monk's Robe Top Gs. I'm trying to be careful here because, you know, anything can happen in 3 days, and we're trying to put in a conservative lowball price, but one that I think is realistic, because if I'm too careful, then, well, I just kind of waste a bunch of time. Another item we're going to put a fairly sizable offer in for is the Elven Signet. We're going to buy them for around 4.6 mil, and we're going to maybe go for like double the buy-in limit or something. Okay, so we're back from our vacation, and mostly I think this is good, although we did lose quite a bit of money on a few things as well. So yeah, we ended up losing like 1.2 mil on the Ancient Wyvern Shield. It's not a great start. However, the standout item by far was the Monk's Robe Top G, where we actually ended up making about 4.5 mil in profit on that, which helped offset some of our losses. I mean, we also lost, I think, 1.6 mil on the Elven Signet. So overall, I think we profited around 3 mil while we were gone, which is quite good. Now, because I was kind of tired of looking at all those items, I decided to dump everything, and after everything sold off, we ended up with 375 mil, which means we're getting very close to our next milestone, that being 400 mil. Alright, so we're back with another Inquisitors flip. This is what I'm going to try to focus on for the next day or two. A decent flip actually, 900k in profit on that one. I think that's probably our most successful Inquisitors armor flip yet. Now, so far, the most success I've had on the Nightmare items has been the Inquisitor's top, so we're going to go ahead and try that once again. Well, there we go, guys. Another successful flip on the Halberg for a roughly 700k profit. Now, that's going to be amazing once we can start doing like 5 or 6 of those at once. Right now, we are wasting quite a bit of time just trying to find the margin, and we don't really have enough money to flip multiple really at the same time. But that is always very good practice, and I mean 700k is still incredibly good for a single item, and one that is fairly quick as well. Well, today's May 11th in the evening, and while we don't really have any more flips on the Inquisitor set, we have finally sold everything off at once, and I think this is probably where I'm going to end it for today's episode. Over the last couple of weeks, I've tried out quite a few different items, failed and succeeded on a lot of different things here, and most importantly, I think I've gotten quite a lot of good practice in. Now, after claiming everything here, we are up to 385 mil, which is a net profit of 52 mil this week, which I'm not unhappy about, as I mean, I was gone for like 3 days. But again, I really do want to start pushing it further and further, and I think the key to that is going to be learning these new items, and of course, getting a bit more money. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching as always, and I will see you in next week's episode. Now, before I go here, I'm going to give a massive thank you to all of my members over on YouTube. A huge thank you to Wolf the Hunt, Colin Corley, Timothy Chen, Guy Fox, Ocelot, and Kush Patel for all being subscribed at the Dragon tier. As always, you guys are awesome. Also, a massive thank you to Hunter Durand, Lord Dojin, All Things Gaming, Yo-Yo Sub 89, Need My Pills, Birdbot, and Base Titch for all being subscribed at the Runite tier. Thank you guys so much. As always, if you guys are looking for another way to support the channel, becoming a YouTube member is an awesome way to do so. You can get access to my video release schedule, get immortalized in all of my future videos, and of course, get a custom role in my Discord server. Thanks again, and I will see you next time.